I grew up with Terrence, spending long days with him, fishing during school hours in the river behind his father's house, smoking cigarettes in the barn, while talking about that hot new girl at school, eventually planning out life after high school together. More than college, actually. Military life. Terrence came from a family much more stable than mine. He'd helped me get through hard times as a child, times when my father would beat me, when he drank 6 too many of the beers he'd kept in our moldy fridge. I've always had a way of blocking things like that out, and I hardly remember being beaten, nor do I remember my mother screaming that she wished I had never been born, or the times that Uncle Nate played games that I didn't want to play in the barn. They all seemed to just wash away, but they left a psychological impact, and Terrence helped scrub away the best he could over the years.
"Don't worry,"
he'd say to me.
"I promise. It'll get better."
So we went to the military together, Terrence and I. I think we learned more in the military than I ever have in my entire life. I learned how to respect myself and others. I learned how to navigate, how to relay messages coded and uncoded, and how to survive. We were stationed overseas for quite some time, longer than most, and one day, driving along a sandy-colored road, the tires of our vehicle kicking up dust in the wind, something happened. Something terrible. An IED. The entire right side of our vehicle went up in flames, the blast rocking it onto its 2 left wheels, and I remember that moment clearly. The look of surprise in Terrence's eyes as shrapnel punched through the clothing on his back, and with my ears ringing, I remember crouching over him, shouting that he couldn't leave me, that he was all I had left.
"Don't worry, man. I'll never leave you,"
Terrence said, his life slipping away as blood pooled around him.
"And I promise you, it gets better."
Then he slipped away, and soon my tour was over, and I returned home. But I was never the same person. I suppose I was able to block out his death, just as I had always managed to block out trauma, but my health suffered. For one, I could no longer enjoy a movie. As soon as the lights started flashing on the screen, I found myself curled into a ball, my mouth frothing, my memory of the last few moments gone. Once in a power outage, the lights in my house had flickered. I blacked out then too, rendered helpless by my condition. Medication didn't work. As the time passed, my seizures only happened more frequently and worse. It got to the point where I had to call another one of my army friends, Jeff, and see if he could live with me while I recovered. Jeff agreed and moved in, and on the first night, I had a seizure after a light bulb in the lamp next to me started popping and eventually extinguished itself, but Jeff took care of me. Then, the next night, the television sputtered, losing connection with its satellite signal. Jeff took care of me again, but when I came to, there was a frown on his face, and part of me knew he wanted to say something. The third time it was a car's brake lights in oncoming traffic, and Jeff pulled over to the side of the highway while I recovered. "Look, May," he said, his hand on my shoulder. "I don't know who is doing this, or how, but someone is messing with you." "How so?" I croaked, tensing, knowing the answer before he spoke. "Because every time those lights flash, it's Morse code, and it's saying it doesn't get better." And I knew at that moment I didn't have epilepsy. Instead, I was blocking something out. Terrence, and his message that after death,
"It doesn't get better." Hey guys, Unit 522 here, and I want to thank you very much for watching my video. I would appreciate it very much if you would share, like, and comment. And if you're new to this channel, become one with the Unity by hitting the subscribe button. If you have a scary story or experience that you want featured on this channel, you can always send it to my email or post it on the Free Horror Stories subreddit. The links for those can be found in the description below. If you would like to help out this channel even more, consider a PayPal donation. And for more updates, be sure to follow me on Twitter. There's nothing wrong with a little darkness in your life, as long as you never forget there's always a reason to be afraid.